What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home? A very good evening to you and welcome to Weekend Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Now before we get into our stories in detail, let's take a quick look at our headlines.
Medical faculty at Saitam to be abolished. New not-for-profit entity to be established. Solutions proposed by the Presidential Committee. 4 people including 3 from the same family killed in Koskora shooting. Police suspect underworld links. 3 Madamulana farmers killed by lightning strikes. People of Pila Kumura in Balangoda receive a new bridge through the Gammadda initiative. Sri Lanka cricket team in Lahore for the first time in 8 years.
The Katina ceremony and the opening of the vestibule of the Sunetra Devi Mahapirivan Raja Mahavihara in Papiliana was held today under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
President Sirisena also participated in the gifting of robes to the Mahasangha in line with the Katina ceremony. A new conference hall at the premises of the temple was also declared open by the President.
I spoke with our President for an hour and 5 minutes. The President has immense patience to listen. I do not know how he cultivated this habit. He spoke with us very emotionally, displaying his feelings for the country, the nation and the people. At this instance, he told us there has always been conflict between the majority and the minorities in our country. It may be because of the want of politicians, but even for politicians to be incited, a seed must be planted. He said that implementing a program to resolve this once and for all is something that is always on his mind. He said he is not saying this expecting any votes. He said very clearly that he is not doing this because people voted for him. You have the capability to carry out this task. There is no one else in this country beside you who can fulfill this task. Conflict resolution is a science. Conflict resolution is a philosophical subject. The first lecture on conflict resolution was delivered through the Dhamma of Lord Buddha. Conflict resolution is rooted in peace, discussion and dialogue. In order for there to be a resolution, there must be calm in society. Tensions must be removed. All of us, including the respected Mahasangha, have a responsibility and a duty today to identify the solutions to the conflicts in our country and move towards those solutions. To discuss it and study it, we must understand what the problem is and what the solution is. As Buddhists, we know what our principles are. We must not destroy life. We cannot allow for the destruction of life. We must always protect life. In a complex society, it is challenging to enrich our lives with these precepts when resolving problems.
Various demonstrations and protests were held against the Saitam Medical College in Malabe. The Government Medical Officers Association held island-wide strikes, citing that a decision regarding Saitam should be provided. Patients and the general public were severely inconvenienced as a result of these strike actions. University students blocked busy streets in urban areas and clashed with the security forces that attempted to disperse them. The university students then broke into the Ministry of Health, where several properties of the ministry were damaged. The medical students at state universities refrained from attending lectures for over 8 months. This wastage of precious time is irreversible. The President appointed a committee to look into all angles of the issue and to provide a solution that will be fair to all stakeholders. Today, a document with the proposals of this Presidential Committee was released to the media.
A statement including the recommendations of the Presidential Committee appointed to solve problems that have arisen with regard to the Faculty of Medicine at the South Asia Institute of Technology and Medicine or SAITAM in Malabe was released to the media today.
As per the recommendations of the Presidential Committee, the medical faculty at Saitam is to be abolished in a manner legally acceptable to the current shareholders and lending institutions, while all operations and management of the faculty will be entrusted to a new entity interested in taking over on a not-for-profit basis, thus ending the ownership and management structure of the institution. The statement reads that the profit-oriented entity owned and managed by Dr. Neville Fernando and family would thereby cease to exist. Based on an agreement reached by the above parties, the assets, liabilities, staff and students of Saitam shall be transferred to a non-state not-for-profit making degree awarding entity that will comply with the minimum standards on medical education and training which are yet to be legislated. The statement also notes that the government has consulted several already established non-state not-for-profit entities with the objective of establishing the proposed not-for-profit entity, adding that detailed discussions with interested parties shall start very soon. The opportunity will be afforded to students currently enrolled at the Saitam Medical Faculty who possess the required entry qualifications to continue medical education in the proposed new institution. Furthermore, issues in respect of former students who have completed their degree course at Saitam should be addressed on the advice of the Sri Lanka Medical Council based on the determination of the Supreme Court case filed on the same. Arrangements are also to be made for students who have completed their degree to undergo clinical training at recommended government hospitals. The suspension of admission of medical students to Saitam, as per a letter issued by the Secretary to the Ministry of Higher Education on the 15th of September 2017, will continue. Hence, all new admissions shall be made to the new entity when only complying with the yet-to-be legislated minimum standards on medical education and training. The statement also notes that the government shall cooperate on all endeavours to make available through financial institutions subsidised student loan schemes to eligible students from low-income families. The current shareholders of Saitam shall not participate in the ownership or management of the new entity. The statement reads that the cooperation of Dr. Neville Fernando and family is extremely important in this regard. The committee also recommends that the Ministry of Health shall gazette and place before Parliament the agreed minimum standards for medical education and training based on the drafts submitted by the Sri Lanka Medical Council upon conclusion of discussions with the SLMC, the Attorney General and other stakeholders. This task is to be mandatorily completed within 1 month from today. The committee has also recommended a chronology for implementing these solutions, beginning with the Ministry of Health gazetting the agreed minimum standards for medical education and training and placing the same before Parliament. Secondly, Saitam, the selected party and lending institutions are to reach an agreement on the transfer of assets, liabilities, staff and students to the proposed not-for-profit entity. Third, the new entity is to be established under the supervision of the Ministry of Higher Education and the University Grants Commission. Fourth, the medical faculty of Saitam will be abolished and the assets, liabilities, staff and students will be transferred to the new entity. Finally, a new not-for-profit medical education degree awarding institute will be established. The Presidential Committee recommends the immediate appointment of a committee of high-level officials to coordinate the implementation of the above measures, with the entire process to be mandatorily completed by the 31st of December 2017.
The head of office, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party in Haliguri electorate, was declared open today under the patronage of former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumarthunga.
I gave him the opportunity to lead the country as a president. After winning the election, he began to ruin the country.
News expressed by Ms. Chandrika Kumarthunga will be shared early during our news bulletin. But moving on to another local story, bombing Parliament has become a trending topic in the political arena following controversial views aired recently. Now here's a statement on the subject minister by former Minister Kehelia Ramukwella.
I say this, the Parliament should be bombed with at least 100 bombs. The reason is, this Parliament will be rendered powerless and it will be converted into mere heads. The word supreme will be limited to a label. The thieves have now been exposed before the world.
Parliamentarian Bimal Veeravansa addressing a meeting in Vennapur repeated the Parliament should be bombed. It was immediately picked up by other politicians. Here's what they had to say.
If the Parliament cannot create laws, if it cannot impose a law that would be for the provincial councils, what is the point of maintaining the Parliament? Someone must bomb it from the sky, or it should sink into the Diyawanna Oya after an earthquake.
It is Ranil Wickremesinghe's pot. If this pot was smashed into bits in Parliament, they will not put forward another pot. What does Ranil Wickremesinghe want? He wants to win eventually. Now who is it that is shouting at present, having abandoned the purpose of defeating this? It is our leader. I think he is doing this because of a deal between the two.
If Ranil is pressuring us to take up arms, we as the Eastern People's Alliance are ready to take up arms even tomorrow. We will lay down our lives even and protect the unitary state and the unity among the Sinhalese and the Muslims.
There is no constitution. No such thing has been made. There is a report. Now they are inciting the people, saying the parliament should be bombed and that it should be leveled to the ground for a constitution that does not even exist, because it is favourable for them if there are problems in the country.
If you take a look at the people who are making statements that the parliament should be bombed and that lightning should strike it, if you take a look at their record, lightning should strike their homes for the allegations of stealing people's money that they have against them.
Parliament is not a place for bombings. Parliament is a place for discussion and resolution. I cannot make an unilateral decision, but once sittings resume, Parliament will decide what should be done.
4 people were killed in 3 separate shootouts that happened in the Koskoda area in Galle early this morning.
But today on Crime Watch, we delve deep into 3 shootings that happened in the wee hours of today. Well, the 3 shootings were reported in 3 different locations not far from each other. According to reports that we received, the first ever shooting happened in Lalihetua, the second shooting happened in Manigam, and the third shooting happened in Kurundugam Piasa. Interestingly enough, these 3 locations are not far off from each other, and you'll be able to gauge it if I mention you the times in which these crimes were reported. The first ever shooting happened in Lalihetua at 3:40 a.m. and 7 minutes later the second shooting happened in Manikam, according to reports, and about 18 minutes later, after the second shooting, reports came in of a shooting occurring in Kurundugam Piasa at 4:05 a.m. Well, these 3 shootings were reported between gang members of a notorious underworld gang. These are the reports that we received early this morning, and our news reports were coming in of the shooting which happened between a 25-minute window. Well, News First was quick to dispatch the teams from here in Colombo to delve deep into these 3 shootings. And today on Crime Watch, we do just that. The initial shooting in the Lalihetua area claimed the lives of a father and 2 sons of the same family. The father was identified as 52-year-old Gajamuni Mahinda Raja, a resident of Balapitiya, while the sons were 13 and 20 years of age respectively. Gajamuni Mahinda Raja was a former member of the Balapitiya Pradesha Sabha. The shooting in Manikgama claimed the life of A. Kapila Ratna Pereira, who was 39 years old. It is suspected that a team of shooters on 3 motorbikes had carried out the attack.
He was in hiding for over 4 years since he had threats. He was out in the open after 4 years. When he was being shot, he asked who the shooters were and why he was being shot at. They shot him again, saying that he was not dead yet. T-56 weapons and pistols have been used in the crime. It is believed that a long-term dispute between 2 criminal gangs in the area had resulted in these killings. It is further believed that the murder of Nuwan Chamrabe Sekara on the 8th of May in the Valipanna area in Kalutara resulted in these shootings that took place today. Nuwan Chamrabe Sekara is also known as Loku. The shooting that was carried out on the 8th of May also injured 2 other people. He was murdered when he was returning home after a party. It was suspected that a member of the rival gang, identified by the name Suji or Gajamuni Suji Vasoiza, carried out the shooting. Loku and Suji had been allies, and the rivalry began as a result of a drug deal that went wrong.
The people who were murdered today have had affiliations to Suji. However, Koskoda Suji, who operates his crime ring from Dubai, has many adversaries. Madush, who is a gang leader in the south, is one such rival. Many of the attacks that Suji had supposedly carried out claimed the lives of children or injured them.
The head office of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party in the Aligarh electorate was declared open today under the patronage of former President Chandrika Madanayaka Kumartunga. Let's now listen to the views expressed by her.
I gave him the opportunity to lead the country as a president. After winning the election, he began to ruin the country. Therefore, do we need to go behind this man? We have been trying to bring this country back to a better state for the last 3 years. Finally, the economy is moving in the right direction. If one is saying that we are going behind those who ruin this party by stealing and attempting to bring back murderers to lead this party, then they are betraying this party. I am entirely not in favor of this. Nama Rajapaksa did not show respect to the youngsters who did not fit into his agenda. Hence, they had to beg to earn a position. Afterwards, they have to bow on to them. This is the truth. They have to beg and bow to people in the party. When stealing, they have to appreciate the said task and join them and steal. Whose money is this? Is it their families? There were some days that I prayed and asked Lord Buddha to help this man to realize to use his head for good.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe handed over houses including land deeds of 7 purchases each to 2,864 families living in estates in Hatton today.
Several ministers participated at the event held at the Bandara grounds in Hatton, where green land deeds were gifted.
There were various governments that came into power with various ministers. They said that they will provide lands. They said that they will provide houses. Today, all citizens across all communities have access to their own lands and houses. Therefore, we hope to provide lands to everyone, not only in the Central Hills, but everywhere else.
This was a problem placed before us by the people of Pilakumbura in Balangoda. Today, we were able to turn their dreams to a reality through the government, the 1000 Projects initiative.
The bridge project undertaken by Gammadda for 300 families residing in Pilakumbura, Balangoda in the Ratnapura district was declared open today. The bridge facilitates convenient transportation for the villages of Polvatta, Keselvatta, Thannavatta, Henyaya and Pahankanda. The access road to the village was also renovated parallel to the construction of the 140-foot-long bridge.
When it rains, children have to wrap shopping bags around their feet when travelling. There are no words to do justice for what you have done. Because of Gammadda, we are very thankful to have a bridge in Pilakumbura.
The bridge project was completed within 2.5 months of the problem being identified. We were able to build this bridge for the village because of the support of the villagers. Our chairman engaged in an unannounced inspection tour of the project and the village. Under the first estimate, we did not have a handrail. However, the chairman decided a handrail was necessary and provided the necessary funding. The opening ceremony for the new bridge was a colourful affair featuring many cultural performances.
Today is an auspicious day for all of you because it is connecting all the villages together. The Capital Maharaja organization is a business organization, but in spite of being a business organization, we are an organization with a heart. So constantly our initiative is to connect with the people. But we are lucky to get the support of a lot of people in putting together these projects. And we get that support because we do things with our heart, because everybody is sure that we will do things only for the benefit of people.
අපට මේ ගමට මේ විශේෂ ව්‍යාපෘතිය ලබා දීම පිළිබඳව සිරස පාවිච්චි කරලා අපට මේ ලබා දුන්න ව්‍යාපෘතිය අපි ඉතාමත් අගය කරනවා.
Villagers expressed their gratitude on the opening of the new bridge.
දුක දකින අය රට තුල නැති වූවා පාලම පඩි පෙළද සිරසින් ගෙන ආවා ගම්මැද්දේ සැවොම නිදුකින් සැරදේවා
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa has left to India to attend the International Buddhist Conference on Social and Cultural Relations. The conference is being held in the historic city of Aurangabad in the state of Maharashtra. The objective of the conference is to educate the world on Buddhist heritage and culture. 3 people have died after being struck by lightning in the Madamulana area in Tangol.
Police added that the 3 victims were drying paddy in a field at the time of the incident. The victims are between the ages of 60 and 65. Police said that the lightning strike followed showers which occurred at about 1 p.m. today.
Milinda Morogoda, former cabinet minister, has published an agenda titled Fresh Thinking for a New Generation.
In his agenda, former Minister Milinda Morogoda outlines his vision for shaping the future across the spheres of values in society, government and governance and the economy. Morogoda proposes that political party reform must be brought about through legislation, including provisions for accountability for promises made by political parties in their election manifestos. He notes that with the strengthening of inner party democracy and accountability, strict measures can be put into place against crossovers in parliament and local bodies. Morogoda envisages that a directly elected presidency is important as it is the sole institution in which all Sri Lankan citizens have a shared stake. However, he says that the president will be held accountable to parliament and have clearly defined powers and responsibilities. The agenda also proposes the establishment of a president and 2 vice presidents who, once elected, shall cease to be members of any political party. For the executive branch of government, the agenda states that the cabinet membership shall be restricted to 30 members and an equal number of deputies, while the president and vice presidents will hold no cabinet portfolios. Morogoda also envisions a bicameral legislature with the upper house being a senate directly elected by the people, established in such a manner that this institution will act as an effective check and balance against majoritarianism in matters pertaining to ethnic, religious and regional equity. A policy advisory council consisting of experienced experts and specialists will be appointed to advise and support the cabinet in its decision-making process, while provincial councils, an ineffective system which costs us 250 billion rupees annually, shall be abolished, with the powers and scope of local government institutions being increased. The comprehensive agenda also covers the sphere of sport, proposing that all serving politicians and officials will be barred from holding office in sports bodies, while a special national sports authority shall be set up with qualified experts to independently regulate sports organizations in the country. To foster national unity and discipline, Morogoro proposes the establishment of a compulsory national service scheme which shall be implemented for all Sri Lankans once they reach 18 years of age. He also proposes a complete overhaul of the judicial system to accelerate the delivery of justice. Measures should include the creation of a Director of Public Prosecutions, setting up pre-trial procedures to expedite the judicial process, and radical prison reforms. The agenda also proposes a combined public and private education system at all levels, with stringent standards and transparent regulations being implemented. On the subject of health, Morogoro proposes a combined public and private healthcare system with strict regulatory standards and patient protection standards, while state-sponsored health insurance schemes shall be available on a targeted basis. He proposes that legislation should be passed to ban all political activities on campuses and within the university system. The former minister says that under his vision, the government will completely stay out of all commercial activities. He also proposes that once a budget is passed by a parliament, proposals for any new government expenditure should be accompanied by offsetting expenditure cuts, except in the case of national emergencies. While expressing his intellectual opinion on several sectors, including agriculture and plantations, technology and tourism, Milinda Morogoro says that the political decisions in this regard should be taken swiftly and decisively.
The foundation stone was laid for the 474th Udaga mine project in the Manajab area in Hambantota under the patronage of the Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Minister Sajith Premadasa.
This village has been named Situ Sevana. Houses for 25 families will be constructed at a cost of 12.5 million. The lands that we are providing today are the lands which were stolen by the state in the past. You must be aware that some of the rural leaders you elected were eyeing this land for themselves. What were they going to use it for? To build palaces for politicians, to deprive the ordinary man of land ownership. They worked towards dividing the land among their own families.
Chronic kidney disease patients in Morawara, Trincomalee, an area that has been brightened by the epidemic, are yet to receive the allowance for kidney disease patients. With no access to effective treatment, the residents of Morawara are sliding further into despair.
Agriculture is the lifeblood of Morawara. The number of chronic kidney disease patients in this area is increasing almost daily. Providing some relief to the villagers, a clean drinking water project was established under the Gammadde initiative. The monthly allowance paid by the government to kidney patients in these areas and across the country is 5,000 rupees each. However, villagers in Rotawawa, Mahadeulwawa, Shravasthipuram and Athabandiwawa in the Morawara administrative division claim they are yet to receive this allowance.
To access the full story, you may log into www.Newsfirst.lk. Moving on to another local news, the annual Katina Puja ceremony of the Hunapite Gangarama Vihara in Colombo was held early this morning.
The Perahara carrying the Katina Chivaraya or ropes travelled from Barnes Place to the Hunapite Gangarama Vihara. The ceremony was organised by the Viharadhikari Venerable Dr. Kirinde Asajithera on the guidance of the Chief Incumbent Venerable Galaboda Nyanisaratera.
And now in sports news, international cricket returned to Pakistan today under a cloud of controversy. The third T20 International of Sri Lanka's tour of the UAE and Pakistan commenced this evening, the first international fixture between the two teams at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore in 8 years since the brazen attack on the Sri Lankan team bus in 2009. Sri Lanka, who were fielding an inexperienced team due to the absence of several senior players citing security concerns, are being led by Thisara Pereira. Pakistan have already won the T20 series 2-0, making today's one-off match in Pakistan a dead rubber. Sri Lanka won the toss and invited Pakistan to take the first lease of the wicket. Fakhar Zaman and Umar Amin put on an opening stand of 57 runs before Zaman was bowled by Dilshan Munabira. Amin and Babar Azam proceeded to the consolidated innings before Isrudana struck on dismiss Amin on 45 with a total at 91. A short while ago, Sri Lanka were 95 for the loss of 5 wickets. So do stay tuned for more news after this, and we'll be back tomorrow with the very latest. From News First team, I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Do take care and good night.